the way I want to start this off is to tell you where my head was at when I was thinking in a very binary type way, and the impact that had. And then later, later down the line, I can talk about some sort of reflections on what I did do in my next role. So where was my head at? Where was my thinking? 2009, 2010, my thinking was, well, I guess, like most Scrum Masters, we understand that Scrum talks about the concept of team in that it's flat, there is no hierarchy, there's not one authority, because we want to promote equal voice. And if one person has the authority, that might translate into less self-organization, one decision maker, these types of ideas. But let me give you some context of what happened to me. I joined a team. I recognized immediately that there's a development lead. Now, this development lead, or the lead dev, was talking about some of the challenges that she had in her team. Very early on, I jumped the gun and I made quite a few assumptions. She was like, what recommendations have you got about us being more effective? How do we get others to speak up? How do we solve these problems with throughput? My response was kind of focused around, well, first of all, we need to get on the same page. And by that, I mean, we need to flatten hierarchy. We need everyone to feel accountable and to take ownership. And to do that, we need to make sure that, everybody is a developer, not a lead dev. What that resulted in was, let me take this, let's take a few more steps back. Just because we had removed or changed the title, that doesn't mean that there is going to be a positive impact on the team or the individual. When they artificially changed their title, so they didn't change it of HR, but things like their email signature, announced it to the team, they're just a developer now as well, and what may come with it, there was some positive reception from the team. And there was also some kind of confusion around why that's even important. The lead developer who changed their title at the team level, I started to realize that she was a lot less engaged, it didn't feel like she was contributing as much. It's almost like she became a little bit paranoid about contributing because, she's gone from lead developer to developer, and we now need to make sure that everybody else is heard. And she fell into the extreme of not speaking, being as involved as much as she would have, as I came to learn later. This screw up, the reason it was a screw up was because although it says in the Scrum Guide, everybody needs to have the title of developer. Now, whether you literally try and put that into action 1 month or 6 weeks or 2 months into your role, whether you see that as important, you need to explore that. We are making an assumption that somebody is in a lead development role or a dev lead, and they are using that knowingly or unknowingly to have the main voice, to provide all the solutions. Making that assumption can have quite an impact on the person that you're removing the role from, and an impact on also the people around the team as well. Because some of those team members, as I came to learn, were like, we feel empowered by, let's call her Lucy. We feel empowered by Lucy. Lucy does give us space. Lucy does provide opportunities for us to, give our opinions. So much more like a peer who's senior in the domain knowledge, not as someone who's an authority. That's the first part to think about, right? What else is worth considering is that it's quite possible once you join a team and you observe people, whether they're leads or not, if you've taken the time to watch and learn and assume just because of a title, when you gather your observations together and you play them back to someone, now you can use something which is objective and meaningful to that person, right? So you're not making these big assumptions, and it doesn't feel like you're attacking their role. You're like, look, these are some of the things that I'm seeing. They may be the behaviors that you're aware of or not aware of. However, based on the goals that we're trying to achieve, say a self-organizing team for whatever reason, do you believe that these behaviors are useful? I'm trying to point out overall for this Scrum Master Screw-up that in my next roles that I had, I didn't walk in and assume that just because somebody was a lead developer that they were going to disempower the team and not provide equal voice, be the person who comes up with all the solutions, be an authoritarian, or it's all command and control. I took a step back. It was more important to understand how different people behaved and whether it was doing the things that would bring value to life for that team. A role in of itself doesn't determine how somebody is going to behave. Going in, observing, playing back what you're seeing, understand what the goals are of the team and the people who are deemed as, as leadership, and seeing if those behaviors match what their aspirations are, that's more useful. That's really what I wanted to communicate. And maybe that can be something that can affect you in your current role. And likewise, there may be cases where there is a lead developer and it is affecting the team dynamic. And it might be something that you want to point out to that person. And it might be something that if they change their role, it would have an effect on their behavior. But jumping in with 2 feet and assuming that all lead development roles are poison or really bad for the team is a real screw up for me. I hope that was useful. Please do like and subscribe. I would love to hear your experiences with, lead developers, how they have worked out, how they haven't worked out, whether the title or the role mattered. It would be great to see how you've experienced it as well. Have a great day and thanks for watching.